Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our series of tutorial on current affairs. And now we talk about economies, talk about trade, talk about commercial activities. Well, there are trade wars between the nations among the powers, and there's international law working on them. So we talk about trade wars and international law. Well, the trade war between United States and China is escalating. Thus, US imposed an additional 25% tariff on USS 34 billion of Chinese goods on July 6, 2 days after their Independence Day. And China has also retaliated, and China retaliated with a similar tariff on US imports worth US dollar 29.6 billion. Well, the Americans have done it for US dollar 34 billion, and the Chinese have done it for US dollar 29.6 billion. Well, the US may impose an additional 25% tariff on another US dollar 16 billion of Chinese goods in September, and perhaps a third new tariff of 10% on another US dollar 200 billion in trade later in this year. Both countries have also used other policy instruments in their trade fight, but it must be understood by both sides that even trade wars have to abide by international laws of economic warfare. It's a trade war, but there is international law, and both nations have to abide by international law. How can foreign trade be properly regulated by uniform laws without some acquaintance with the commerce, the ports, the usage, and the regulations of different states? The pertinent question was raised by James Madison, fourth President of the United States in the year 1788, in Federalist number 53. As you know, there are state list and federal list. So, Federalist number 53. Foreign trade laws had remained contentious issues for years, but the recent US China conflagration has put the spotlight back on this issue. International trade has been growing steadily in the last decade. WTO has suggested that the trade growth in 2017 was stronger since 2011, but now the US is taking strong position. In 2017, the US Trade Representative initiated an investigation under Section 301 of the Trade Act 1974 into China's act, policies, practices related to technology transfer and intellectual property. The said article states that if the United States Trade Representatives USTR determines that the rights of the United States under any trade agreement are being denied, or an act, policy, or practice of the foreign countries violates or is inconsistent with the provisions of or otherwise denies benefits to the United States under any trade agreement, or is unjustifiable and burdens on the restrictions and restricts the United States commerce, the trade representative is authorized to suspend, withdraw, or prevent applications of benefits of trade agreement, concessions to carry out a trade agreement with a foreign country, or impose duties or other import restrictions on the goods. The USTR report held that China was involved in the theft from the computer networks of US companies, which provided the Chinese government with the unauthorized access to intellectual property and trade secrets, which in turn helped China in achieving its strategic development. In achieving its strategic development goals, including its science and technology advancement, military modernization as well as economic development, a US claim.